Be sure and subscribe to my Bitchute channel. I just got the last video was age restricted, so I just deleted it. Usually when they do that, it's a bad sign, so I just take them down. Boom is a big company, sort of. That doesn't mean that their margins are fat. They're not drowning in cash. These retarded I should have said developmentally disabled commies. They think that having a business means that you're able to just throw money around. That's not how capitalism works. It does work, but it's not magic. Most of these people are sandy vaginas who hate that Berserker is successful because using Kickstarter bugs them. A business uses all the tools available to put the comic in your hands. Why would that be a problem for anybody? And so I thought about this, and I think because it's an issue of legitimizing alternative publishing routes and bypassing the SJW gatekeepers, they know that people like them control mainstream comics. Crowdfunding is for Comicsgate. It's not real. It doesn't have status to them. EBS, Zach, Malin, R.T. Bayer, Mike Miller, Doug Tenaple are doing it for a full-time gig. It's not going to get any more legitimate than that. Clint Stoker of Downcast and Sweetcast, in a few years, he's probably going to be doing it full-time also. He is really independent publishing success story, or crowdfunding the Comicsgate success story. Because he's had a string of ever-increasing small successes. He just keeps growing his platform, growing his audience. So he's an interesting case study if you're planning on making your own comics. Comics, mainstream ones, are propaganda. They bear little resemblance to what they were. Comics now are full of short-haired lesbians, pronouns, trans everything, and POC purse puppies. Every blonde man is bad, and every black woman is good. These tropes make the stories very boring, and they don't sell. Then you have navel gazing, or more accurately, I should say, vagina gazing. SJW women are endlessly fascinated by their pussies, which is kind of odd seeing as how half the population has them. But they think that they're special for some reason. A lot of this stuff is first world problems. You get a bunch of mediocre people, like, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying Brian Visaggio, who they want to stand out. So instead of practicing and becoming a better writer, they say they're gay or queer or non-binary or something that will virtue signal and get them attention. Their work product doesn't get any better, but they get more gigs. Just become a better writer. And by that, I mean write what sells. These people are perfectly content to put all this work into selling 1,000 issues a month as long as it gets them woke points. These filthy whores won't give you what you want, but they don't want anyone else to either. They want total control over the narrative. They are godless Bolsheviks. They know better than you what you want. Eat a dick, commies. SJW comics were so bad that people had to start Comicsgate and make their own. Imagine how much people have to hate your comics that they started an entire industry to compete with you. Comicsgate's not perfect yet, but it is getting better, while the mainstream is getting worse. I saw that Constantine might get a sequel. I also saw that the Bill and Ted thing came out, and I thought about talking about it, but then I realized I'd have to watch it. And I guess it's on Amazon, and I didn't want to watch it. It's like watching something just get destroyed. Kind of like Kevin Smith's latest sequel, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It was a reboot. Oh, God, that was disappointing to watch. Anyway, so they say, however, in light of the book's crowdfunding successes, I'm sure by the time if you check it out, it'll hit 400,000. And man, the sky's the limit for Keanu Reeves. Some members of the comic book industry, salty sandy vaginas, have taken issue with Boom Studios' decision to use Kickstarter's platform for the series, particularly due to the studio's alleged history of underpaying its employees. I'm sure they have, but simultaneously probably also paying you what you deserve. When you're only selling like 7,000 a month or whatever the hell that your numbers are, you can do the math yourself. You can figure it out. Best known for her graphic novels, adaptation, Babysitter's Club books, found herself absolutely cackling at the idea of a major comic book pub, which has deals with Netflix, and that doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. Hopping onto Kickstarter, because the people who are on these Netflix deals, the money's not going around equally. The people who are the creators of the projects that are getting licensed are getting the majority of these fees. They're not just throwing money at everyone vaguely associated with Boom. Hopping onto Kickstarter to find the counter-raised written comic books. It puts the comic in more people's hands. You look like you're just sucking on sour grapes when you do this kind of thing. Gail Galligan. I do need you to know that I am absolutely livid. The idea of a major comic book publisher. Get over yourself. Oh, and for some reason, page rate increases aren't in the stretch goals. Weird. All right, that's fair enough. You know what Comicsgate does? They give bonuses. When you hit like $100,000, you might give a bonus. I think EVS hit a certain amount of money, and he gave Kyle Ritter an extra 10 grand after already paying him a very good page rate. You guys should come over to Comicsgate. Make your own comics. Giant Days anchor Fleming stated she was so furious about the campaign. She claimed Boom Studios paid her a rate of 20 per inked page during her run on the series, and now they don't even want to pay for their own publications. Well, what were then? I mean, they can't magically pay you if you're not pushing books out the door. It's just I mean, this is just math. This is not, I am so furious. 4 years ago, I spent doing everything you can imagine under the sun. Well, I won't say it. Comics-wise, for that company, making raisins, and now they don't even want to pay for their own publications. The calculation. I'm disgusted. Princess of Power animator Farina asked, how is using a platform meant for people to kickstart? Okay, here's a weird thing. I've heard them complain. I've heard this. They also say this about when Comicsgate is doing the six figures young lady thing. They say they made some comment like, "Oh, it's not supposed to buy you a house." Why the hell not? I mean, just from pragmatic purposes, you got to live somewhere. So why would you? It doesn't. That doesn't. Who says? Who says? Who sets the rules? It's not supposed to buy you. Who the hell are you to say what I do with the money? If I want to go buy $100,000 Tesla, that's the point of it. That's like, why did you become a doctor? Oh, it was a good job that paid a lot of money and to be able to drive a Porsche. Oh, okay. And you didn't do it for like altruistic reasons, get into law or medicine or whatever. No, I just like Porsches, and I knew that like I could get a Porsche every 10 years if I got a JD and went into corporate law or whatever. Oh, we expect you to work for like the public defender's office for the next 100 years of your life and slave wages or something. It's like, people do things for their own business. It's none of your business why they want to make comic books. If they want to make comic books to get a monthly supply of cocaine and hookers, that's all up to, sex workers, because sex work is real work, don't you know? What's not, you degenerate, filthy whores? What is wrong with you people? Okay, so they did this thing about talking about like somehow trying to find a difference between Kickstarter and project, and like making too much money on the project. So they do this careful pie chart breakdown of where the money's going, and we're paying our working native, indigenous, colored people of color inkers to this much money to make our comics. So that's their business and that's your business. It's not our business. Just sell us the product, make the best product you can, and get it into as many people's hands as possible. I don't need to know where the money's going. And I'm sure you're lying about what you do with the money anyway. It's like, oh, well, we're paying $700 on rental fee. It's like, I don't fucking care, you losers. Put it up your nose for all I care, as long as at the end product I'm getting a good product. And don't put it up your nose. Don't do drugs. How is using a platform meant for people to kickstart projects they can't afford okay for a company who admits they don't need the money? Every company needs money. How much more money do they need? More. I can only assume it's okay. Here's the thing with these comics: you make money on your first project, so you can get ahead on your second project. If you make six figures on the first project, then you have You don't have as much as you think, but I mean, you've got money to put. You've got to pay your rent. You've got to eat. You've got to pay your health. All these kind of things you need to pay, and then you also need to. You want to crowdfund, like just in time delivery every single time. Well, no, it would be nice if you could make enough that you could put money into your artists ahead of time. Like if you had an extra, I don't know what the art might cost on a small project. Maybe it's $30,000. Well, if you had that extra money, you'd be like, okay, well, I can pay you, up front. You don't have to wait for the money. I can pay you as the work comes in, that kind of thing. It's like, shouldn't you be paying the artists as soon as you possibly can so they can do whatever the hell they want to do with their money? For some reason, no. You have to live according to their rules. They're very weird people. You know what they are? They're very controlling people. That's why male feminists are so freaking dangerous. They are. If you don't do things their way, here's the thing: if you're with anybody, and I don't mean like not the business or personal relationship, and they're not doing things your way, well, you either do it yourself or you find someone who'll do it for you. It doesn't matter what product you're buying. That's what Comiskate is. It's just a step around for these gatekeepers. It's sad to see that there's some gatekeeping in Comiskate too. I wish that would end. But I wish, a lot of these, there are developmentally disabled bundles of sticks in Comiskate also. We're not immune from that. 11 minutes, I can say what I want to say. But I got to get on DLive and start doing some live streams. YouTube, you need 1,000, I think, to live stream off a cell phone. I can use my laptop, and I got to get DLive set up. So I think there's more freedom on DLive anyway. She further went on to say that $350K in one frickin' day. Actually, John Delarose just got his project funded in one day too. He made like $5,000 in one day, and I mean for a small creator, that's actually pretty good. For a project they knew would succeed and didn't need the money for. That's still a weird thing they keep talking about. Like didn't need the money. Prostitutes don't pay for themselves, or whatever you're into the money for. It's like, oh, I want my kid to take classical guitar lessons because I'm too busy to teach him myself. Classical guitar lessons cost $50 an hour, or whatever. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I race motorcycles on the weekend, and those tires cost $500 per tire. I want to race bikes. That's what it costs. Anyway, there's no such thing as too much money. Anyway, you get the idea. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, sub to me on Bitchute, and I will probably see you live on DLive. Aloha and mahalo.